Abusive men just love this one sentence, right? I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to cheat. God, you're so sensitive.
What's wrong with you? Why don't you find anything funny? You can't even take a joke.
They always want to hide behind the fact that they, quote,
didn't mean it.
It is garbage because in most cases, they absolutely did mean it. But let's really break down what we mean when we say that it's intentional, because this throws so many women off. Relationships that are healthy are not measured by intention. They are measured by impact. What actually matters is impact. Intent plays a tiny role. Of course, it matters if somebody tried to hurt you versus accidentally hurt you. But someone who accidentally hurt you would handle it quite a bit differently than you see abusive men handle it. People stay so stuck trying to figure out if he meant it or how he could possibly have meant it. If you're trying to figure out if it was intentional or not, if he understood or not, if it was caused by trauma or his mother wasn't raising him properly, he's just never been in a healthy relationship before. Abuse is not caused by trauma, by narcissism, by substance abuse, none of it. Abuse is caused by a choice to be abusive. Abuse is a choice. And abuse is intentional. Can you imagine for a second if in a legal setting, the defendant's lawyer was like, but, Your Honor, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean to murder someone. He didn't mean to steal that. He didn't mean to commit fraud. It was an accident. He didn't understand. That's not a legal defense. That's ludicrous, actually. That is absurd. Absolutely wildly absurd that would ever show up in a legal setting. It's never been a proper defense. Why is it a defense in your relationship? I didn't mean it. Now, we want to believe that they didn't mean it. And I totally get that because it's a big, scary step to actually believe that somebody that you love, that claims to love you, would actually hurt you on purpose. Now, if you're new here, my name is Sonni. I'm a certified relationship coach. I work with women who are in horribly abusive relationships. I work with women who don't know if it's abusive or toxic. Women who can't figure out if what he's doing is actually on purpose. And I help women exit relationships and rebuild after they've left these relationships. I teach women how to leave. Get yourself ready to hear all of these tactics that these men are using to trap women in abusive relationships. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe so that you do not miss more content like this. Now, intent becomes a real distraction, right? They want you to think that they didn't mean it so that they can actually hide behind that and use that sad little defense to not take accountability. It's one of the pillars of narcissism. Now, whether or not this person is an actual diagnosable narcissist is not the point, because actually, chuck that label right out the window. It doesn't even matter. What matters is that this is a person who does not want to take accountability, and so they do all of these things to just push accountability away from themselves, probably onto you. Your reaction is the problem, right? But the thing is, I didn't mean it allows us to start analyzing their character, right? You don't think that you're with somebody who would do such a thing. You don't think you're actually married to or in a relationship with somebody that would hurt you on purpose. You've built trust, maybe even some dependency on this person, and it just is unfathomable that someone would hurt you on purpose. But that's kind of the whole game, right? I didn't mean to shifts the entire conversation, and it takes it away from the impact. The impact is the thing that actually matters, right? The intent is not that important. You're asking yourself, did he misunderstand? Maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe he was just stressed. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm overreacting. I'm too sensitive. I need to learn how to take a joke. All the things that he's undoubtedly feeding you, right? This is where victims of abuse actually start to really defend the abuser, right? No, you just don't get his sense of humor. No, I wasn't sleeping with him often enough, so maybe that's why he cheated. We come up with all of these reasons, and it often feeds right into what they're saying. You have to really see how these words kind of go together. We start to sound just as defensive as the perpetrator of abuse does. Now, there are a lot of covert ways and overt ways that this shows up, but the truth is you're going to hear the same things over and over and over again, right? You're going to hear, I didn't mean it. That doesn't matter. That's not what I meant. You're too sensitive. I was just joking. God, you're always trying to pick a fight. You're always trying to make an issue out of nothing. My God, you're so difficult to talk to. The The problem is you. The problem is you. It's never them. He'll say, oh, you're twisting my words. Oh, you took it the wrong way. He's always going to flip it back on you. Now, this is going to make it incredibly hard for you because you don't want to believe that this person is doing this to you on purpose. But all of these things make this your problem. So if the problem is that you're too sensitive, you can fix it by not being so sensitive. But what they're really saying to you is that you can fix it by just letting somebody humiliate, mock you, abuse you, and harm you. All you have to do is just tolerate all of my abusive behavior, and then we wouldn't have any problems anymore. The problem is you. The intent is I didn't mean it, and so you should not have any impact. That's not even how human brains work. You can't just erase impact because there was no intent. But again, I firmly believe that abusive men intend to cause harm. But it may not be exactly the way that you're thinking of this, because a lot of women will say to me, no, my guy's not smart enough to be this strategic. My guy wouldn't hurt me on purpose. But people seem to kind of think that abuse is only intentional if somebody wakes up and they're like, how can I rip Lisa's heart out today? Let me think. I know. But that's not really what I mean. That's not generally what happens. Now, to be fair, that happens sometimes. That's a special category of abusive man. But primarily, they're not waking up with intent to harm you. But this is semantics, right? They wake up with intent to get their needs met. They want power, they want control, they want risk, they want to cheat. And let's stick to this example. Let's use cheating for a moment here and kind of go down this path. They may not wake up and say, I'm going to cheat so that I hurt Lisa. That's probably not what's going to happen. But they do wake up going, I want to cheat and I know that it's going to hurt Lisa, so I'm going to lie and do it anyway and just deny that it happened. And then I'm going to say, but I didn't mean to hurt you. And hey, plausible deniability, because you know what? He probably didn't mean to hurt you in the sense that he didn't wake up plotting how to stick it to you. But his behavior did not even factor you in. Your impact was irrelevant. The only way that they considered the impact, right, is, well, I lied to protect you. You lied to cover your butt. That's why you lied. It was not about that. It was actually to avoid the consequence, not to avoid the impact of hurting you. Because if they wanted to avoid the impact of hurting you, they wouldn't do it. That's how you know that it's intentional. Abusive men, they want control, they want compliance, they want power, they want dominance, they want their needs met by any means necessary. And if you get hurt, that's your problem. That's not their problem. If hurting you gets them what they want, so be it. Abuse is not defined by somebody wanting to hurt you. It's really just their willingness to hurt you. An abusive man wants his needs met. And the truth is that he's entitled to that. The whole world, especially this world of patriarchy that we live in, they believe that they are entitled to get their needs met. So you're like an obstacle in their way. So they don't mean to hurt you, and they can tell themselves that. That's one of the most wild things of all of this, is that they actually can sit there and genuinely believe, I didn't mean to hurt her, because he didn't wake up plotting to hurt you. But one really great way to know if they understand that the behavior is bad, because I know they all hide behind, like, I don't understand what you're so mad at. I don't understand why you're freaking out. Reverse the behavior, flip that. Now, don't actually flip that because that could be dangerous in an abusive relationship, but just mentally for a second, just flip that behavior. He is now the victim of you cheating. Does intent still matter? I didn't mean to. Does that fly with him? No, he understands the behavior is bad. These men know that the behavior is bad. It's why they lie about it, right? But now you're meant to focus on the impact, but he wouldn't be focusing on the impact if the roles were reversed. That's how you know that they absolutely understand that the behavior is bad, but where entitlement swoops in here is that they are entitled to behave this way. You're not. You're different. They're special. You're not special. They get to do whatever they want to get their needs met, and it should just be fine with you. I don't know what you're so mad at, right? Focus on the intent. The intent is a distraction tactic. Now, we keep talking like they didn't mean it, but you have to see it as abuse is intentional. As I said, abuse is not caused by all of these things that we pretend that it's caused by. There are plenty of people who are abused or traumatized in their life or have gone through really tough childhoods that grow up and do not become perpetrators of abuse. So it doesn't cause it. All of these things can be factors and still not the cause. What really matters here is the pattern, right? So you can't see intent. This is what makes it so hard, is that you can't see it. You can't plainly go, well, I can see his intent. It's always left a little ambiguous, and particularly because of things like trauma bonding and attachment and cognitive dissonance, it's really hard to just sort of firmly land on, I know that this is intentional. So let's sort of shift that word aside a little bit here. Let's talk about the patterns, because patterns reveal the intent. If you tell someone, you're hurting me, and the person responds with, why are you hurt? That's ridiculous. That's not a good response. That's a bad response. That's an abusive and or toxic response. Now, if you say, that hurts me, and somebody says, oh my God, I didn't mean to hurt you, let me learn more about this. What specifically hurt you? Maybe they're making jokes at your expense, right? And they thought they were just being funny. And you say, actually, I'm a bit sensitive. Lean into what they're even, accusing you of, right? You're so sensitive. Okay, I'm very sensitive. I don't like to be roasted, especially not publicly by my partner. Okay, so a partner who cares about you would then say, oh, I didn't know that hurt you. I was just kidding, right? I was just roasting you. I thought you'd laugh. My bad. And then they would stop. Now, the choice to stop is a demonstration of, I care about your feelings. I thought I was being funny. Clearly, I'm not. Therefore, I choose to stop because I know that this hurts you. But when somebody says, what's wrong with you? You're so sensitive. Oh my God, you can't take a joke. God, you're so boring. All of that garbage, that puts you in a situation where you have to go, they're going to keep repeating this behavior. And as you watch them continue to do the very thing that you have explained to them hurts you, and it just keeps happening, there's your answer. The answer is right there, baked into the pattern, clear in front of you. Now, there's a reason, obviously, that we sort of debate intent. Now, I sort of hinted a little bit at this cognitive dissonance piece, right? Because if he meant it, does he love you? Can somebody who loves you mean to hurt you? Like, those two things don't go together, and you're trying to hold these two conflicting beliefs. So it makes sense that the natural response would be cognitive dissonance, right? You're going to feel discomfort from this confusion. And so our brains are going to kind of go, maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe it was just a joke. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe he's right. It's easier to believe that. So that's definitely part of it. But if he didn't mean it, maybe he's a good man. If he didn't mean it, maybe you can learn to not be so sensitive, and then you can stay, and then it's not abuse, and you don't have to flip your life upside down because you've realized that it's abuse and you need to leave. It's safer to believe that. All of this is happening unconsciously. It's not a choice that we make to just put on blinders and keep going. But if it's a misunderstanding, maybe love can fix it. Maybe you can talk to him. If he doesn't understand, maybe all you need to do is get him to understand. And if he won't listen to you, maybe he'll listen to a therapist. Maybe there's YouTube videos you can send him. Maybe. Hope. Hope is a big driver here. Hope is the key factor in why we're so attached to these relationships. Debating his intent protects that hope. I want to take a hammer and smash the hope into a million tiny pieces, pick them up and go, gone. No more hope in these relationships. We give these men the benefit of the doubt. To be fair, we give men frequently the benefit of the doubt, but an abusive man specifically who has a patterned behavior that you can actually see and look at when you're clear-minded enough to be able to look at it, it's right there. We don't give these men the benefit of the doubt. This is exactly what protects them. And the world gives it to them. The patriarchy gives it to them. Men around them, women around them. We all give these guys the benefit of the doubt. And as long as we do that, we're enabling the abuse. We have got to stop assuming maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe he did. Maybe he knows exactly what he's doing. Maybe he meant it. Maybe he doesn't care that you got hurt. Maybe he benefits from this framework of you believing he doesn't understand. Maybe it's me. Maybe he doesn't understand what he's doing. He doesn't know that he's hurting me. Did you say you're hurting me? Yeah, he knows. He knows. If somebody truly did not mean to hurt you, the behavior would change. Let's not make it more complicated than that. Are you exhausted? I'm exhausted from understanding these men. Women are in relationships with men like this, and we're living in this reality of the abuser where, I didn't mean it. Intent means everything. The impact is what matters. And we've not even talked about the impact because he doesn't let you talk about the impact because that would make him have to be accountable. He'd have to hear that he's hurt you. He'd have to stop the behavior. He'd have to change something. He'd have to accept that he's not perfect. He would have to not hurt you. But when somebody's goal is to hurt you, when somebody's goal is to, invalidate you and dismiss you, make you feel small so that you stay in a relationship like this is exactly the kind of behavior that you're going to see. So if you are absolutely done and exhausted with this kind of behavior, I'm going to invite you to follow me, subscribe, work with me one-on-one. I work with women every day in one-on-one sessions or in group coaching sessions, trauma bond recovery, or rising and rebuilding after these kinds of relationships. And I also have a community called She Rises Collective that I co-host with a therapist, Shelly Pumphrey. And she and I run a community there where we have special events and workshops and live group coaching and a community chat. You get 24/7 access to support. So I invite you to join She Rises. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe and I'll catch you in the next video.